This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next 2 hours, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to talk about everything from e-cigarette flavorings to a company that produces a wide variety of products to make us healthy. We'll be talking about spirituality and health with Robert Clancy, and we're going to wrap up our show today talking with Tabitha Mays, the founder of Spirits Landing, and find out what she's doing in the Los Angeles area that could be duplicated throughout the country, helping people achieve what they want in life. I'm Mark Alyn. Welcome to Late Night Health. Our first guest today, we're going to talk about e-cigarettes. We've done that before, and we should probably bring Mark, what's Mark's last name?
Burton.
Mark Burton, yeah, back on. He's doing music now, but I think he's still involved in e-cigarettes, and we'll find out about that. It's probably a good idea. We're going to speak now with Scott D Baylin. He spent more than 40 years involved in issues related to tobacco and public health. Scott, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What is your background? In other words, do you have an educational background in this, or are you...
Yes, I have been working in this area, and a lot of it focused on the FDA. For 40 years, I actually wrote the petitions when I was at the American Heart Association to the FDA seeking authority to have tobacco products regulated. It was a big battle for many, many years. We finally won that battle. Went all the way to the Supreme Court, and Congress had to pass the law.
Are you the guy who said smoking could be hazardous to our health on the cigarette packs?
Oh, I'm not that old. But we picked up on that. That was
that was in the 60s.
To advance and update those labels in Congress. And one of the leaders in the battle was Congressman Henry Waxman from your area.
Right.
And, so we took on the industry and pushed forward with that, and it took a while to get it. But here we are talking about many of the same issues, but with new opportunities and new challenges.
You've worked in recent years at the University of Virginia. Virginia is a big tobacco state, isn't it? Are they still growing it?
But the University of Virginia, I got involved with them as a consultant. What they have been trying to do is what actually President Carter tried to do in 1985, and that is to bring the stakeholders into the same room and have a discussion about how to better regulate these products and how to deal with some of the public health issues associated with it. UVA has a huge medical school. They're very well known for it. And the people that I've been working there are their purpose is to try to bring those stakeholders together. They did it with the public health community and the tobacco farmers to find solutions to their issues, both public health issues and also the issues related to growing. And the UVA is still doing this with respect to trying to deal with some of these new issues and new kinds of products appearing on the market, such as e-cigarettes.
So have you ever been a smoker yourself?
No, never been a smoker. I used to, when I was in college, when I would drive down to our family's place in Virginia, I'd puff on a pipe once in a while, but that was about it. And just never really tried cigarettes. I didn't find them appealing. I didn't, it didn't do anything for me.
Right. It's interesting you say that about the pipe, because I had a flash to my first semester in college. My girlfriend, I was 18. She thought it was really sexy to have a pipe.
Yep. And the smell was great.
And the smell was great. Much better than cigarettes.
You got it.
But she dumped me or I dumped her. I'm not sure which. So I smoked a pipe only in front of her for about 3 months. And it did me no good, if you know what I mean. So it really wasn't worth it all in all. However, I hated cigarette smoking, and I used to hide my mom's cigarettes. I would throw them out. Because in school, even back when I was going to school, elementary and junior high and high school, they would talk about the harmful effects of tobacco.
Including stunting your growth. That was one that appealed to a lot of young kids.
Yeah, well, apparently that one, I had that naturally, according to my illustrious partner here, Mr. Wayne. You're over 6 feet, aren't you?
Yeah, it's 6'2.5", if I stand up straight, which I haven't probably for 45 years.
Yeah, I just saw myself on video the other day, and I look like a crotchety old man. Anyway.
No comment.
Oh, come on. Anyway, I've never liked cigarettes. I don't like pipes. A friend of mine smokes cigars on a regular basis. Yucky. I mean, all of these have, from mouth cancer to all these things. And now they have e-cigs, e-cigarettes, vaporized something. In your opinion, Scott, are they healthy? Are they safe?
I wouldn't use the word healthy. They are lower in risk compared to the deadly cigarette. People forget that it's the smoke that kills you. We have 480,000 premature deaths due to smoking, and when you light tobacco on fire and breathe it into your lungs, that's what's killing people. There's a misperception as well that it's the nicotine that causes disease and cancer, and that's not it. Yes, it is addictive, but it's not the villain in all of this with respect to getting cancer, heart disease, strokes, etc. And the public hasn't been educated well enough. So often when people talk about e-cigarettes having nicotine in them, they say, well, it's just as dangerous as a cigarette. But it's very, very, that's not the case in terms of the data and information that's out there. Even those people who are opposed to e-cigarettes at least acknowledge that they are lower in risk. They're not safe. Nothing in our society is safe, whether it's our foods or anything else we do.
Oh, come on. You buy organic at home. I know you do. What about the nicotine, though, grabs you in? And there's been some evidence that e-cigs can lead to tobacco smoking itself.
Yeah, that's called the gateway effect. If you're using nicotine in a different form, that people may gravitate towards cigarette smoking. That may be the case for some people, but it's clearly not the case for all people. And that's why there are a lot of people moving the other direction, a lot of smokers. And we've got 30 million adult smokers out there who have tried to quit, can't quit, or want to quit. They've tried the patches and gums, and those are nicotine-based, and the nicotine comes from tobacco and their flavored products. But more and more of these people are gravitating to trying e-cigarettes. And finding that is a transition product for them. And we got to be careful as we approach the issue related to youth, and that's a very serious problem. I don't want to undermine it, but we have to remember that there are 30 million people out there costing this country $300 billion in healthcare costs and lost productivity who need help as well.
Because they've smoked.
Because they smoke. And if we give them lower risk alternatives, and that could be e-cigarettes, but it also could be these products like Swedish snus, which is a pasteurized, non-combustible form of tobacco that comes in a little pouch, and you get your nicotine by putting it in your mouth.
And chewing it.
And if we can get people to use some of these other alternative products that have been developed over the last 10, 15 years, we may save a lot of lives and prevent the disease and death, the number one cause of disease and death in this country, from cigarette smoking.
You mentioned that cigarette smoking, the nicotine, I guess, is the trap, but there are other elements. I mean, there are hundreds of chemicals in tobacco smoke.
Yeah, it's estimated to be 5,000, and many of those obviously have been identified as cancer-causing or having effects on the cardiovascular system, etc. I also like to always point out to people that tobacco is being used to develop medicines. So I always tell people it's not the tobacco that's killing you, it's how you use it and in what form. The Ebola vaccines are being developed by using tobacco leaves and genetically modified tobacco. And so there's a whole world out there that needs to be educated about what tobacco is and is not. That includes what nicotine is.
And we talked about, a couple of years ago, we talked about nicotine as a medicine. And there were several studies at the time that indicated that nicotine could be a useful product. Of course, then Big Pharma will get hold of it, and down that rabbit hole we all go. Our guest is Scott D Baylin. He's a independent health policy consultant, and we are talking about e-cigarettes. We're coming up on a break in about a minute. There's something wrong to me about cherry-flavored vapor, because to me, young kids are going to like that, or juicy fruit, or many of these other flavorings. The FDA has some new rules and regs. We're going to talk about that, and we'll also talk about the fact that the FDA Commissioner, Scott Gottlieb, who left, has released the agency's anticipated drug policy restricting e-cigarette sales. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Scott Baylin and I return in just a couple of moments. Please join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com, and also facebook.com/latenighthealthradio. More coming up. Don't go away.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. Opening your heart is the only way to allow all the light in. Unconditional love does exist, but it takes trust, something not a lot of people are willing to give. But how can you expect it if you don't provide it too? All hearts are refillable, rechargeable, and renewable. So why worry about being burned? By giving, you have everything to gain. Think of how beautiful your life would be if someone loved you without barriers, gave all of their heart to you without conditions, and wrapped their soul around you like it was your last day on earth. Today, you can be that person for someone else.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenighthealth.com. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.